Hello, Shriram here. Hope I'm audible to most of you. Hi, Balram, Divya, Johnny there, Khalil, Rashim, Ravi. Hey guys, thanks for joining. Okay, good to see you all. Sushant, things are going good. Okay, fantastic. Right, I got a confirmation my audio is good, my video is good. Right, good, Ravi. Good to see you. So, how things are going? Being Today is a Saturday or it's a Tuesday?
It's Saturday.
Sure. Okay. Sometimes you stay at the home for a long duration. You don't know what is Saturday, what is Sunday, right? At least in Indian culture, we tend to run to office on Monday morning. On Friday night, we feel more relieved. So at least now, what happens is you have to stay at home if you have an opportunity to work from home. Unfortunately, not all jobs are work from home. Okay. So sometimes people doubt at you, right? What you work at home. You keep your laptop and keep on staring at it. They doubt, are you really working or watching some movie there? Anyway, that's good. That's good. A lot of fun happening in the internet talking about work from home atrocities. Huh? Good there. So the people who really work anywhere at any situation. Good there. Thanks all for joining again. And today it's going to be another session where we're going to talk about schedule management. I think so far we touched a few other areas. One is integration management. One we touched about scope management. Today we'll talk schedule management. These are the heavyweight subjects in the project management. And again, these are the heavyweights in PMP books also. When I say heavyweights, the content will be a little high. Sometimes it will be a little tough to correlate with what we do on a day-to-day life. The problem here is if we don't have an opportunity to really plan a project from the beginning stage and the execution and monitoring it, if we have not done those areas, slightly it is tougher. So that's where the clash starts happening. Hey, I've not seen this, man. This is not the way. Maybe the book is wrong, right? Those are the arguments start coming up. But actually, the books doesn't come just like that. It took years, it took decades, it took a lot of success and failure to come what we see now. So I'm not saying book is 100% right. Sometimes it may be wrong also, but at least certain principles are good enough to follow, right? So that's what we're going to see now. Good to see a lot of our candidates who already attended our classes. I'm seeing them here. Happy to see you. I know some of you read the books end to end. You know even the page number, line number, everything there, right? And some of us are very new to the project management, listening this class. So I'm going to maintain the middle line. They call us a mean. I'm going to maintain the median line. I don't want to go super heavy. I don't want to go very low. I'll maintain the medium line, right? If anybody in the very edge of going to the examination or you are ready for writing the book PIMPOC 7th edition, we have to slightly underplay today because we will have a lot of new people who are just learning, right? So that we'll do and will help people to understand things. And this class is to help us to push a little more towards examination. And if anybody very new to the management, they have to learn what is all about. So that's a goal of this program. It's going to be 1.5 hours. I have few slides with me. I do want to do the session without slides, but you will start hating to see me for the last 1.5 hours, right? Or next 1.5 hours. It'll be so tough. So we'll have few slides, and of course, I have some videos also to share with you. With that, we'll get inside, and I'm seeing good number of people joining here. First of all, thanks to everyone, and most of you should be at the evening mode. Good evening, and anybody here from different part of the world, having your morning or your lunchtime? Anybody here? Okay. Ah, some people are there. Let me see that. Ah, morning here. Okay, someone. Which part of the world you are? Rahman. UK. Okay, that's great. Good to know. Hope things are good at there, your place. As we see news channels, every news channel has some numbers running there. Look like some cricket score or football score. It's very bad to see those numbers. Anyway, all will be better in the next couple of years. Things will settle down well. Couple of years. If anybody worried about this pandemic, don't worry. Go back and read the history. What all happened the last few centuries. This is very common when pandemic happens. It happened multiple times, and we are better this time than what we had in human civilization. So it's very common. It happens, and you can go back and read the history. A lot of things happen in the world. The world history has changed many because of this. So don't worry, things will get better. Be strong and stable. Only thing is support the elderly people. They are the one most scared, right? So just give them confidence that nothing will be there. Be strong. Okay, whenever I read the good books, I first thing learn is positive mental attitude. That's a biggest success in anybody's life. People in the army front, it's so toughest situation they face there, climatic conditions and war front. They lose a friend in front of them. They even get injured. Still, they be stable and either fight with an enemies or opposite person or come back home with injuries. If they lose a confidence of staying alive, if they lose a confidence of life the next day, sure they can't be. But I'm seeing many of the people are so scared, sending some unwanted WhatsApp messages and worried about a lot of stuff. It shows how unstable we are, right? At least in this forum, you are in the leadership forum. Leaders are meant to be strong. Strong doesn't mean like physically strong, first mentally strong, right? You should know how to solve the problem rather than running behind and blaming someone, right? Good. That with that, we'll get inside. I'm having a lot of people today. Ah, so nice. Okay, I just want to say hi to all of you. So I would prefer everybody coming on the cam for at least 10 seconds. Let's see each other by face, say hi, and get to the session. If you don't like to come on the cam, if you're not ready, you look very shabby, that's okay. Right. If you're good there, I just switch on the cam and just say hi, then we'll move on to the session. So it gives a good feel. Oh, Sushant, the first guy always comes there. Okay, Sudha is there. Hey, Sudha. Okay, great to see all. Great, people are coming up there. Balram is there, Ravi is there. Hey, Ravi, after a long time. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Prabhu is there. Khalil, Rahman, good to see you. Right, good. Hope the weather is good there. Is it a minus or is it a good temperature? Okay, great there. So Karthik, Shami is there. Das is there. Good there. Good. Good to see most of you coming there. Johnny is there. Hey, Johnny, thanks for joining. Good there. Great, guys. Great. I think I'm missing a few more people. Anyway, fine. Good to see you all. And thanks for being here online. And let's kickstart. Let's wave hands and say hi, and we are good there. Okay. Great, guys. Thank you. You can get back to your mode. Yes, we'll go there. I know it's so what is it unplanned to come on the camera when you're not ready, right? Sometimes by mistake, when you do the office calls, the camera gets on automatically, and you will be in a bad shape. Nobody want to see you. Great, great, good guys. Let's go on. Okay, 408. We will go to the screen. So there are a lot of questions about the Zoom. I will tell, don't worry about it because you are just clicking the link and getting there, right? So I'm sure it is not going to be a security problem for you because Zoom also made some security patch on that. Things are good. When something comes up, well, definitely some competitors will be there. They're also facing some competition. So that's a thing. So don't worry about it stuff. In fact, our computer has a lot of loopholes without our knowledge. Your mobile has a lot of loopholes. Anyway, Zoom is one exposed. Good there. Don't worry about it. All are good. Let's get that. One kind request, you can be in the mute mode. You can be in the camera off mode so that when we want, we can come back later, right? Good. Let me get inside. Schedule management. That's going to be a good job. Okay, let's see some factors here. Okay, before I go to schedule management, I just want to give a heads up about projects. What is all about project? I'm sure most of you are aware what is project all about. A project is something which has a constant or a stable timeline to be completed, a start and end. But the end is desired or not, not sure. Is the start is desired or not, not sure. Start date can be next week, next month, even beyond that. It all depends upon the contract between the companies, contract between the performing organizations, right? That's how they do. So now a project should be something within some specific timeline that's called a temporary, and it's going to be very unique in nature, right? A project doesn't need to be always a massive construction. It can be anything. That's the reason I want to show one of the image. I believe these kids are celebrating birthday, I assume, or maybe some function at home. And that's also a project. They plan it well in advance. They make a timeline. They make a costing. They definitely care about the quality, right? When it happens at home, we give more extra consideration towards quality. Of course, in office project also we have to do it, but again, office projects are taken for granted most of the time. But again, when it comes to home, you don't compromise on your quality of the cake what you order, or the venue where you want to do, or music or lighting system. When it is yours, you do 100%. When it is for company, let me think about it, right? It happens, but still, coming back to the point, a project is something like going to have a timeline, it's going to have a cost and factors. And people are very new to the management. You should see the triangle which is put down there. If you see this triangle, it helps you to understand it has a three factors. One is the scope. Scope talks about the requirement of the project. And again, we have a costing factor. Along with that, we have scheduled the timeline. And of course, the quality stands in the center, right? Now, this combination is going to help to complete the project in time or within the budget or within the requirement. And we call it as a triple constraints. If many of heard about it, it's called triple constraints, right? Now, a project is something which needs time adjustments frequently. It is not always very strict and straightforward, telling that you set a time, that's how it's going to work. There can be some flexibility coming up. If it is going to be of more of adaptive nature project, definitely timeline will change a lot. When it is a predictive nature, chances are we can complete within the time what we thought. For example, if I talk about, let me imagine these as a birthday party, right? Birthday party, right? They want to cut the cake by, let's say, 4 p.m. But if the cake is getting delayed, or some of the relatives has to come a little late, or your friends you're waiting for it, or at least you tried for the Wi-Fi video call with your relatives, but unfortunately the Wi-Fi is not good. So from 4, it can go to 5 p.m. It can get pushed up. Things can change the last minute, right? So a project which has some way of need and change going to keep popping up. We can't say no. But is it acceptable? If I do that, will it be within the quality? Will it have any cost impact? Will it have any requirement changes, right? So these are things we consider under something called CCB. That is a change control board through which we understand or we help to understand whether there will be any impact when you do these changes. So your project is something so very unique in nature, and it has some specific timeline to be completed, and there is something specifically cost factors also involved. Now that's a little about the project. Before I go there, I just want to share a video to talk about what actually the project management or project manager is all about, right? So you should know what are the things, ingredients makes a project manager. Let me see if few more has joined there. Okay, good. Hey guys, thanks for joining. I'm seeing new names are popping up there. Good.
Shriram.
Hey, hi. Thanks for joining. Good. Yeah. Okay, let's get back to this slide. I have one more which I want to talk about the project manager. I keep repeating this project manager role consistently. The reason being is many unaware of project manager role. Many are aware of the package of project manager. I like the people who say that managers are paid heavily. I want to become a manager, but are you ready for it? Is your mind getting broader? Are you aware of what are the roles of manager? Just because a person is 15 years in the company, it doesn't mean the person become a manager. Just because you run between every conference room doesn't mean you become a manager, right? So it doesn't mean by that. It has something meaning behind that. It's getting very hard time sometimes to explain this to people from different country, like at least in India, it's so hard. The reason being is people are given as manager even though they don't do the role of the manager. It's very unfortunate. Now, what's happening is this leads to problem when they go to the bigger role in a real organization. What I mean by real is When you want to face a big company with the big projects, there they expect you to be the center person who has a control of things around you, right? Some people think that, okay, if I speak really well, my communication is great. If I can influence some people, I become a manager. No, there are a lot of factors behind this. You should have a specific knowledge. You should have a domain expertise. You should have the skills developed. Apart from that, yes, interpersonal skills are important. I'm not saying no, it's important. But just don't believe that only running here and there will make you a manager. No, that's a wrong assumption. There are a few more factors to learn, right? If not, these books won't exist, right? People can say that, oh, okay, I can be a manager on the own. That's the reason I keep putting this line, telling that you have to enhance your skills. But again, I want to tell you, don't think that, okay, I didn't do this manager role for a while, so I can go for the manager role. I'll say, no, you can. But only thing is you have to consciously keep your mind, yes, I have to learn. If you keep that mind open, it will work. I'll tell you, it really, really works. You have to keep your mind open. And again, you should have a specific time management skills with you. I'll tell many a times to my managers, if you work more than 9 hours in your work, it means you are very inefficient. You cannot become a manager and you cannot become a CEO, right? At the start stage, at least you should know your time planning. You should know what time you wake up, what time you work, what time you sleep. Some people I hear that I work 18 hours, I work 27 hours. 27 hours, how do you work, man? From today to tomorrow. Okay, maybe you're a security guard in the company. I don't know what work we do. You cannot do like that. If you do like that, it means somebody's eating your energy, somebody's taking your blood out of you. You should know what is the role of yours, and you should be very clear and specific on that. It's easy to say, hard to do. I'm saying it very easily, it's hard to do. For that, you should understand some of the roles I mentioned down the bottom. If you see there, you have to be the person who can plan the project really well. You have to know the skills to manage the team, engage with the stakeholders, bunch of people, bunch of organizations. Then and there, call keep coming up. You have to know whom to talk what. You cannot be playing with the words. Yesterday you say something, today you will talk something else, right? There are lack of confidence, dishonesty. They'll commit something I will do. After 2 3 days, you ask them, I didn't do that, or at least they don't reply. There are many people who don't even reply the message after reading the message. These are certain basic characters which will tell you, are you growing or you're going to be the same stage, right? Coordinate works, putting teams together. In your same corporate, you will have a lot of people working together to come up with a project. Always, project is not a single entity. You will have multiple small sub projects that becomes one mega project, right? So you have to have that, maintain the momentum. That's so important. You could have watched some of the football or a cricket match. First 20 minutes, it will be so much fast and good going, and slowly the momentum start dropping. So we need someone to cheer up, bring it up. That's very important. If not, things will start going down, and the momentum goes down is so hard to bring it up. What I'm telling you is only the tip of what a project manager is supposed to do. There are a lot more behind this. I'll play one video to show a small tip of what actually a project manager can do. I expected to do, right? Can I play that video? Are you good to listen to the video? Ah, you guys are good then. Okay, that's good. Let me go to the video. Ah, okay, quickly someone confirm you're able to see the video and also get the audio there. Okay, sounds good. Thanks for confirming. Let me play this for you.
If you dream of being a key player, if you want to be at the heart of the action, if you want to scale the highest heights, part of something huge, it could all be within your reach. Project manager, your professional skills could be your passport to a career of limitless possibilities. Whether your passion is for entertainment, space exploration, or fantastic feats of engineering, there's a project for you. Because every successful project needs a project manager with the skills, knowledge, and experience to ensure its smooth delivery. But we know that the best project managers don't just need passion.
Hey guys, sorry, I'm stopping there. Someone is messaging that audio is not clear. Is that so? Anybody facing the problem? Audio is not clear. Okay. Okay. That's why I checked beginning. Let me redo it again.
No, we are able to listen to the audio, but the words are not clear.
Let me check out. Okay, from the beginning, the movie starts.
If you dream of being a key player, if you want to be at the heart of the action,
Hope this lady is speaking well now.
Yes, it's good now.
Perfect. That's great. Let's move.
if you want to scale the highest heights, or be part of something huge, it could all be within your reach. As a project manager, your professional skills could be your passport to a career of limitless possibilities. Whether your passion is for entertainment, space exploration, or fantastic feats of engineering, there's a project for you. Because every successful project needs a project manager with the skills, knowledge, and experience to ensure its smooth delivery. But we know that the best project managers don't just need passion, but professionalism too. They need leadership qualities and the ability to make decisions and to apply core skills like budgeting and planning. There's more than one way to become a true professional in the field of project management. You can acquire the essential skills over time, building your experience year on year, project by project, until you reach the highest of professional standards. You can seek a more direct path, gaining the qualifications you need to rise to the top. Or you can combine these approaches in a way that suits you. Whichever route you choose to becoming a project manager, we believe your skills and experience and your ability to put it into good practice is valued and recognized. And that's why we support project professionals throughout their careers, every step of the way, to the world of possibilities that lie ahead.
Okay, hope that video gives some clarity. And mainly I wanted to talk something about um, knowledge and the skill expected to become a manager, right? So why I put this specific video is I want to make you to feel that knowledge is very must. I'm seeing many people think that it's okay, my experience will count. Yes, it counts, but again, how much you are able to recap it and use it in upcoming projects. Can you put that on the table? That's very important. Okay, setting that ground further, let me move more. Hope the slide is visible to you all now. I'll come back to the slides now from the video. Okay, great. Let's go. This is something 14 process sheet if you have seen in your PMP books. If not, this is what a process sheet all about. So here, today we're going to talk about something called schedule management. So what is schedule all about? We're going to talk about how you manage a time factor. If you watch out here, this is the area which we're going to touch today. And what we do here is we're going to plan the scheduling factor. It is how much of time it's going to take to complete a particular set of work, right? It's very vital. To do that, before this last week, we would have learned something called WBS, work breakdown structure, which is nothing but the hierarchical decomposition of what all work to be done, right? That's what we learned. So today we're going to see this activity level, how much of time it's going to take, and again, consolidate all, and that will give something called as schedule baseline. If anybody new here to the project management, this is from a PMP books, which has something called 49 process sheets. So we have 5 process groups here, and we have 10 knowledge areas, and this overall boxes, we have totally 49 processes. And many ask the question, what is a process? And this process is something very simple if you want to learn through. For example, in this free online training or a revision session, what happened is you got the invitation, and the initial days, first what you did is you gave your name and you gave your mail ID, right? Mail ID, and you pass this information to the system. And the system worked out, and at least we also went through your names and details, and then the registration got completed. Based on that, you got an output which is called as a link to join this session. If I want to tell that this is a process, it's a process of getting something in and doing certain activity inside that, and the output is going to be a result. The result can be tangible or intangible. Now, why I explained that is like that in project, we have a lot of processes in place to move from one point to one destination. A project can be of 4 years, 5 years, can be of 6 months, can be of 2 weeks, whatever it is, according to the size and need, the process will be there, right? That's a message. Anyway, that's a little more about what you call as protein process sheet. Now let's go to the schedule process. In schedule, what all we have? In schedule, we have a few bunch of processes. Interestingly, most of them sit inside planning area. In this planning area, we have good amount of processes. If you watch out here, in planning segment, we have, you have to define, you have to sequence it, you have to estimate it, you have to develop it, right? Now, will it happen only once in a project or it's a repetitive process? Can somebody tell me it's going to be one time you do in the project of schedule management or it's going to be repetitive? It's a continuous process. Yes, it will be keep running on. It's a repetitive. Even though it's a predictive or adaptive nature project, it's a continuous process. You have to keep seeing the document, timeline, how we are progressing. Are we going the right way or the wrong way? Even though this training is a predictive nature, it is a 1.5 hours plan. We know who are joining, we know what's the agenda, but still we keep looking at what we have to do. Am I going the right time? Maybe we buffer out extra or maybe complete faster also. We keep looking at things, right? We have to see whether are we on schedule. This is very important process, right? Right, that's great. Now let's move on. Now, what are things we have here? We have something called prioritization. Why I put this is not from your PMP books, but what I thought is whenever you want to handle the time effectively, you should know how to prioritize the work. Which work should come first, which will come next. This is a very important part. And this is what we do in the sequencing part. You sequence it in what order the work is going to happen. And what that sequence is called as, it's called as logical sequence. There should be some logic. What do you mean by logic? There should be some connection, right? If I want to do A, before that B should have been completed, yes, it should be, there is a need. A wall should have been pasting completed, then only the painting can start. That's a logical relation. Without a wall, you can't paint, right? This logical relation happens in project. Some certain things are very explicit, certain things are very implicit. Why a project manager is expected with the experience and knowledge is to handle these kind of scenarios. And also when you have a domain expertise, people prefer you because you can understand some of the implicit requirements, which is so hard to handle it, right? So time management is an art. Is can be learned? Yes, you can. See how many of us done time management really well when we did our examination in your college or school days. They give 3 hours of examination with a question paper and you segment it right. It's a 10 marks question, it's a 20 marks question. I want to complete the exam at least 10 minutes before so that I can relook what all questions I written down. Or I need at least a 20 minutes buffer time so that I can copy from the next paper. It happens. So exam hall, how efficiently you did management. It's between you, the invigilator, and your friend sitting next to you, only three people. But when it comes to project, there are a number of people, number of external parameters which can disturb your timeline, which can give addition also. I'm not saying no, can be there. But again, most of the time it will be disturbance which can pull your project to be delayed. For example, now what's happening in the pandemic, and this delays most of the projects. Many projects got delayed, halted. Now these are going to hit the schedule management badly, right? That's what you're going to see. Anyway, that's a little ahead about that stuff. Some trending factors from the PMBOK book. This is from the PMBOK project management book or body of knowledge. What they talk here is some of the trending factors about iterative way. Many people have this doubt, hey, do PMI, PMP talk about agile? Some people talk about, man, PMP is a waterfall methodology. Then I have to ask, man, have you read the book? No, I not even seen the book. Then don't talk, keep quiet, right? Read the book properly. It has 1,000 pages. It has a lot of content. The whole world is loving this material with a lot of information, right? So when they talk about it, they talk about how they handle the iterative method of project management. In the PMBOK book for the schedule management, they have a concept which is called as trending and emerging factors. What they mean? They talk about what is the current thing happening in the project. If you watch out here, in iterative scheduling with the backlog, it's an agile approach. What do you mean agile approach? In agile approach, they use most of the time the rolling wave planning. If you heard about something called rolling wave planning, which is something you keep planning as and when you get close to the requirement. See, certain requirements which you can be in advance, prepare for it and plan for it. Certain requirements only when you get close to that module, your team will get an idea, or at least your customer will get an idea. So you have to wait for that, right? Most of the agile projects are adaptive nature projects, which gets clarified only when we get closer to the requirement, right? Stage 2, stage 3, when we get closer, you get requirements clarity. And those projects where the time will not be decided very perfectly, where they'll start planning based on the need. But the overall project plan will be with us. We have to complete this project in 8 months. That will be clear. But what I have to do for every 2 weeks, that will be fluctuating, right? That's iterative mode. And even they have something called on-demand scheduling, which is used in Kanban system. I'm not sure how many of you are aware of Kanban. Kanban is one of the best system which is also used in manufacturing industries. They also called as a signboard, which has a full detail on the board what all work is being happening, what are the stories taken, to do, in progress. They even have some number for it. If say three, only three items allowed in this column. If I want to pull one more item here, I should move one from here, then only one will come inside, right? Kanban has a pull based methodology where you limit it. It's called work in progress limit or work in process limit. You put a limit, beyond that you won't go, right? This is a little more of a timing factor. This is not for an examination. There is no question asked in examination in recent days for this. These subject will be asked as a question from 2021 as per the PMP new agenda. Okay, let's see a question. There is a question here. Just run through this question and find out what can be an answer for this. Let's give a participation. Even though it's right and wrong, don't worry about it because it's not so easy to read a question and answer within 1 minute. So give a shot on your best.
I'll go with milestone. Milestone list. A.
Mhm. Mhm. You are managing a construction project. You have decomposed work packages into activities, and your client needs a duration estimates for each activity that you come up with. Which of the following will you use for this? The question itself having the answer. If you see the question here, when you read the PMP questions, you will be a little careful. They say that your client needs duration estimates for each activity. Okay. And the question is asking which of the following will you use? Obviously, when you want to see each activity, then it will go to activity list. In PMP books, we have something called WBS. After WBS, we put the package into pieces. When you put the package into pieces, it becomes an activity list of activities, nothing but small components which make a project work together. If you come from the world of agile, we talk it as epic, we talk it as features, and the features becomes the user stories, right? And that nothing but here an activity. Activity is nothing but the level where the team can consume into the work. I saw most of you answered well. I got one or two saying a different answer. You can look back the question now. Maybe you get a little clarity there. The question has the keyword each activity. It means they want the list of activities. Does it sound good for the people who had a different answer? Okay, here it goes answer, right? Good there, good there, good there. Okay, that's one of the questions for your understanding purpose. Let's keep moving. You guys are doing good job. I can see 98% people made the right answer. That works well. Good knowledge there. Okay, let's talk something about define the activities. The English word define talks about elaborating things, right? So what we're going to do here is, before coming to this place, your team would have gone to the room where they discussed about something called WBS, which is called as work breakdown structure. You put the work by pieces, segment by segment. Already it is done. Now, this work will be further subdivided logically. The word logical is very important. You cannot keep on going dividing into pieces. There should be some logical cut. So the logical cut happens here, decomposing them into activities that are required to produce work packages. Nothing but you make smaller components, smaller piece of work, which your team or a set of people can complete it. And also, when you go to the lowest level, it is good enough for you to do estimation. You can do some sort of resource finding. These all can happen. See, for example, talking about the wall behind me, if I know this wall, what all activities will make this wall? Maybe I have to do the concrete work, maybe I have to do the cement work, maybe I have to do the painting work. When I know these activities, I can estimate how much of time it will make me to get this wall ready. Also, I will know how much of resource I need. When I say resource, I will talk about the human as well the material, right? Both I will talk about it. So I can understand those things when I know at the activity level. Maybe I can tell, hey, I want a wall. I want a wall can give some idea. I'm not saying no. I can even make an estimation. I can even bring some material. I can bring some cements, painting, fine. But the accuracy level will not be really good. When you go to the level of activity, your accuracy can be better. I'm not saying it's a perfect accuracy, but at least close to what actually we want, right? So that's the reason I was able to put this image. If you look at this image, you will have something called work scope of the work, what actually needed. From there, you get the WBS coming up, right? The WBS nothing but work breakdown structure. Some of you who attended the scope management classes, you would have understood. It talks about how do you put the pieces. And then you have something called define activities. That's what we're doing here. What we're doing, we are putting into pieces. We are putting into pieces, right? I think this is a sponsor of the project, looking very crazy here. Anyway, so now this all the list of activities which can be done. Now you can question me, Shriram, you mean we will do all the activities at one shot before doing the work? I have to tell you, no. It's going to be progressive. You will get only 25 activities when you plan the last Friday. Again, when you start doing the work, you start seeing a little more coming up. So you may add some to be removed. That's what the project management all about, right? Some people tell that no, 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 it should be all fixed, rigid. Cannot. Certainly, you can fix the higher versions also. So defining means putting into pieces the activities which has some logical relationship, right? Right, let's do some more factor. I have a small workshop for you here. I believe you all have a paper and pencil next to you. Pull out the paper and pencil and let's try something here. There are certain packages. Let's say food is one department and invitation is one department and bridal is one department. Imagine you are the wedding assembler or wedding coordinator, some factor. Now, can you put me items under this food from this list, what you see here? I have a lot of items here. The shop for shoes. If you want to put shoes under food, you can put it, right? Let's quickly see what comes to your mind. Take 2 minutes and put in your paper and just give me a done if you're done with that. Just try it out. Pull out a paper and pencil next to you, start writing it. Under the food, put all the line list of items. Under invitation some, under bridal some. I would recommend everybody to do that. I know some people even do by the mind calculation. They will look by eyes itself. They start doing here, here, here.
We
Don't do
need to
that.
do in
Take your
sequence, right? Should we look at the
sorry,
sequence also? Should
not
we look at the sequence also, or just all the activities that come under it?
just put the act. That's enough. That's good for us.
Okay.
Okay. Cater the wedding. I think that goes there. Find caterer should go there. Finalize the menu. Of course, it'll be there. Regarding invitation, I'm seeing a lot. Mail the invitations, print the invitation, wait for RSVP, arrange tailoring and fitting.
Create guest list.
Guest list. Okay, great. Okay, somebody recently got married. Will do it faster, I believe. Let's see who does faster. Okay, do I have anyone already done with that? Cool. Okay, Shami, go ahead. Under bridal, what all comes for you? You can open the mic.
Under bridal, okay. Arrange for the tailor and sorry. Well, arrange her tailoring and fitting, and then uh, shop for the dress, shop for shoes, and and choose a bouquet.
Okay, good. Thank you. Gouda, can you go for invitations if you're done from your side? Prithvi.
Yeah, hi. So the invitations create list, wait, RSVP, print invitation.
Okay. Cool then. Great, man. Thanks for that. Hey, by the way, I know this is not the big complicated stuff, but again, thought just to make you to think about it. I'm just going to pull out what all is here. Now look at the screen. See if you have this list with you. It's a kind of reverse factor, right? We are seeing the activities and then we're seeing the top level. But actually, what will happen? You will have a lot of assorted items to be completed, and you may group it as and tell as a project, or we take a project and start dividing to pieces. It can be both the way. It purely depends on. See, the marriage function is a one. You know every nook and corner of it, what need to be done. Sometimes all the activities joined together can become a package or can become a project. But if they give you as a marriage assembler, that's a project you received. From now, you will talk to the customer and understand the requirements and start putting into pieces. It's both the way it goes on. But point here is you should know how much level you can go down. There is a limit for it, right? Logical division. You got to stop there. You cannot keep on going further down, and it will not make any sense. Anyway, thanks for the participation. I believe most of you done it because I don't see any done from many of you. Maybe it's Saturday, post lunch, slightly drowsy mode. You guys are okay. If so, that's fine. Come out of it. Be active. Be participative. Right. I think you two have a keyboard to type the message back. Tell you are done. Okay, that's good. There is a question here. Let me see how much you are able to grab some information out of it. Read the question carefully. See the keyword in the question before you go to the answer. What the question is asking from you. Mhm. Okay, the question is looking. Three members of your project team want to pad their estimates because they have believe there are certain risks that might materialize. In the brain, right? They want to ask, what is the best way? Whenever they use the word pad, what is the best way to describe it? time to every activity. Right? When you say every activity, it's going to
Hi, Shriram, we can't hear you. It's I think maybe the issue with the network from your
Yep,
side.
yep, yep. Is it better now?
Yeah, it's better now. Yeah.
Okay, I think some problem there. Good there. Sometimes the connection get in trouble. Okay, I'm back here and I saw your answer. Some said A, some say B. I will go with that now. So when I go with B, right, it says that if you watch it here, it tells you that every activity, you cannot go for every activity. Oh my God, my internet connection is still bad. Please hold on. Let me. Okay, successfully I've switched my internet connection. Hope things are good now. You're able to see me. Now I'm in a yellow color shirt. Hope you can see me well now. Okay, Tejas is worried, not able to hear a single word. No, Tejas, you cannot hear because net connection was not there. Right, Tejas not much worried. Don't worry, Tejas. We're back there. Okay, we can hear. It is all good. Okay, let's move on. Good. This is a good thing of having two internet connections. Is it blue color? Mati is asking, is blue color? Maybe. Okay, maybe blue color. Okay, let's go on. Time running up. Quick. Okay, screen is visible. Let's talk about this. Here, the answer goes to A. The reason A here is, what is the best way to handle the situation? Estimate the activities honestly. I like the word honesty, okay? And then use the contingency reserve to cover. What is this contingency reserve? Probably I'll talk this when I come to the risk management, but still quickly update to you is, contingency talks about what kind of risk can happen, and that for risk we have to allocate some time, and that time is going to help you to handle when the situation happens. This padding is talking about buffer. I have heard many team members telling that, hey, we need to add buffer to the project. Whenever we hear the word buffer to be added, there's something like you should have a meaning for the buffer. Bluntly, you cannot tell that, Shriram, can we give me 30 minutes extra time? Why 30 minutes? You have to justify it. No. In 30 minutes, I have to get ready myself, look good, then only I can come for the camera. Oh, then it has a risk behind that. So 30 minutes is granted or not granted. Blankly, you cannot go and tell that give me 30 minutes. That's a problem in most of the project happens. Without estimating the risk, people just like that give 1 hour, 1 day or 2 days for an activity as a buffer. By the way, the word buffer doesn't go well. In fact, you should have a honest detail what is all about. If you know the risk, pronounce the risk and talk about it and get the detail about it. So the answer goes to A here. And also the A, the honesty is very important. And this part is very important part for the project manager. You should be top of it to know that is the team doing properly. If not, it's going to hit all over the baseline of the project, right? Okay, that's good. I know we spent 2-3 minutes on internet connection. Now it's good there. I think we got the answer A. Let's keep moving. Sequencing of activities. Very good. I love this kids walking like line. You see this? You all see that? Have you guys been like this in school days? Went in the proper line or jump out of the line? I was a guy, we used to stand for the prayer in the morning hours, right? So I used to be in the last, and we have a game of pulling the last guy from the back. If you push, everybody will have a shake on the line, right? That's a fun we used to have in school days. Okay, we got a lot of punishments for that. But again, coming back to this sequence, what is sequence? Putting things in on the line. What do you mean by putting in the line? When I say in the line, it should have some logical connection between them, logical sequence of work. As I was talking about this wall, there should be a logical connection, A, after which B, after which C. And this logical connection, how it happens? It is done by experts. It's done by the team members. It's a collective work. They put all the work together in a project. You have at least, let's say, some 25 items to be completed so that you can call it as a project is done. I should know activity one will be done, then three will start, right? Three will start. Parallelly, I can start two also. Three is dependent on four, and two is dependent with five, or five is dependent on the two. It goes like a compartment in a train. There is a sequence for it, and this is called logical sequencing, and for which they have certain factors which is called as dependency theory, where they talk about there are internal dependency, external dependency, or something called mandatory dependency or discretionary dependency. You make some dependency, right? Only when this done, that can happen. There's a dependency. Only when the development team completed the work, the quality team start testing it, right? Only the cement mixing team complete the cement factor and makes a concrete. Now the next team can work on some other factors which can help beyond the concrete, right? So there is some dependency on that. Now for that, they have some logical relationship, finish to start, start to finish. It goes on, right? After this A done, B can start. And these all done by an experts team along with you as a manager, and it happens throughout the project. That's the reason I put out here. It's going to happen throughout the project. Don't think we will do the sequence diagram at the beginning of the project, then I will forget it. No, because when two completes, five has to start. But unfortunately, two got delayed. Two got delayed. Now what do? You have to rearrange the system. You have to make things properly, right? It is a continuous activity of a project manager to watch out, are we traveling in the sequence what we planned? If it is not happening, we have to work out on the alternate plans, right? That's very important. Process of identifying and documenting the relationship. I like this word relationship. It's very important. You has to find the relationship between the activities which gives some meaning when we put in an order, right? We put in an order. Now, people coming from a predictive nature of project, they make a big network diagram, very huge network diagram, and this network diagram is used and again keep updated continuously. If you're coming from an adaptive nature of project, agile model of project, you will not have such a big network diagram. You will have a smaller size network diagram for each release. It may not be for iteration. You may be having for release. A release will have at least 4 or 5 iterations inside that release. So release based, they'll put a network diagram, what basis it should be completed. Why we put this network diagram is primarily to see that dependency, because there are certain dependency which can be internal to the team, internal to the project, internal to the organization, or external to the third party. There may be some dependency, right? I have to wait for some raw material to arrive, then only I can complete the task number 3. So there is a waiting time for that. This is the reason they use leads and lags. I know some of you are aware of it, but I'll give a clue for you. Whatever we are doing now is we came from the requirement from the customer. From the requirement, it became a WBS. From the WBS, it became an activities. Now activities, we put in a compartment and we sequence it to see that there is a logical connection between 1 and 2, right? That's what's happening. Now, let's see a little more factor. Before that, I'll just read the last line here. If the activity durations are added, network diagram shows critical path. Why I want to explain this line? So far, I didn't mention anything on the timing factor. I didn't estimate at all. I have just put the activities and I made a logical sequence. I will not make sequencing based on the timing factor, that is duration. Even before finding the duration, first we'll make a sequencing. After finding the sequencing, now we will find the duration. This activity, it will take 3 days to complete. This activity may take 1 day to complete. this activity will take 4 days to complete, right? We should not go by the duration to put a sequence. Sequence should have some logical connection. We'll do that. Later, we'll work out on a duration, or in a real life, this all can happen on a same day, same room also. Sometimes it can happen a different timeline also, right? Point is, you should know there is something called sequencing. Fantastic. There is something called leads and lags in schedule management. This is primarily used to set the context between two activities, right? I'm sure I would have discussed with you in a class sometime back, talking about Usain Bolt as an example. But again, I thought of talking about leads again. Leads is something, for example, there is an activity A, there is an activity B, right? B can start, B can start only if A comes and touch B, right? That's a time there. But now what leads will do is, even before A complete his whole path, B can start. It means they give a lead of running faster before it starts. The reason is there is a demand, there is a need, there is a situation it can run independently. So leads will take a little more effort to move and not wait for the upcoming activity or not waiting for the activity behind it. It can start and run faster. I used to give an example of the relay race in athlete in relay race. When they want to hand over the baton to person A to person B, the person B will not wait. When the person A is coming closer, the person B will start running, at least pick up the speed. And then A will chase B and hand over the baton, right? And that goes to become lead. You take a lead before you complete another activity. Now, lag talks about the waiting time. What is the waiting time? There can be a mandatory waiting time you have to do, or there can be a discretionary. We inject the waiting time for activity B to start until A gets completed. These all can be dependent on the sequence of activities and some of the dependency on external internal systems. We set the leads and lags, right? That happens. These things are going good. Are you with me? Okay, great, great. Hope you have good tea on your table with the two pieces of samosa there. It's a 5 o'clock. Your table should have samosa and tea there. No samosa?
So samosa is a far-fetched dream now.
Excellent. Somebody says missing coffee and samosa. Oh God. Okay, that's great. I know we are missing it, right? Anybody missing barbecue nation here? Absolute barbecue. I won't be surprised when these restaurants open. There is going to be heavy rush. We need to have a military in the entrance of the hotel to regulate the crowd, right? It can happen because some of the restaurants it will become shooter's site. People may jump on each other, go for the restaurant. Can happen. Okay, good, good. I just saw the message somewhere. Someone says that Singapore is recommending to shut down all the zoos. Okay, now they realize the pain of being isolation, right? Keeping the people inside the home, how hard it is, how bad it will be for the animals, right? Putting inside the cage, maybe elephant or a lion. And it's so bad, right? Putting them individually in the cage and you go and click some picture with a Canon camera. And I saw the message, a good message. Now people start realizing the pain of it. Anyway, let's see how it matures. You know what? All this pain, people forget within one day. That's the beauty of human thing. We will forget and we'll start running towards same restaurant, same beauty parlor, same stuff. Okay, there is a question for you. Come back. Oh, and I put the answer immediately. Go ahead, read the question. Your company has previously run other projects similar to the one you are currently managing. What is the best way to use that information? I think it's a pretty straight question. Reuse the project management plan from a past project. Start from scratch because not needed. Use parametric estimation. I think I showed the answers also, but again, the question looks pretty simple and straight. Let's understand the question very well. Your company has previously run other projects. That's a clue there. So they're talking about something on lessons learned. Somebody is putting OPA, that's perfect. Check the organizational process assets for lessons learned and other information. Right. So anybody new to the management here, I want you to understand that this lessons learned part is a very, very important golden book of a company. I'm not sure how many of you watch a movie Mummy. If you watch a movie Mummies, you will see golden book, right? That kind of importance you have to give for lessons learned. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen. In personal life also doesn't happen, right? When your grandfather says something, you don't bother about it. After we face the same situation next 20 years, you will feel, oh my God, that man was so wise, but he was not here. He's not here with me, right? So the same happens in the project. Lessons learned are very, very, very important. Unfortunately, most of the company don't have it. If they have it, it is not in a usable form. But again, don't think lessons learned should be always about the project which you did previously. It can be your modules, it can be your releases, it can be from a immediate project what you did now. It can be lessons learned. For example, if there is a metro construction happening in a city, a metro construction goes by multiple phases: phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Phase 3 people can learn from phase 1 and 2. That's going to be the project learning, right? I don't want to go and see Kolkata's metro construction which happened 25 years back. Maybe irrelevant. Years have passed by, a lot of parameters would have changed. I can see something very close to me. That's very important. So lessons learned are very vital. Don't feel shy to get the lessons learned. I see some managers, they feel shy to ask lessons learned. It touches their ego. They want to tell, hey, I know everything. Nobody knows everything in the world, man. You have to go and ask. Don't feel shy. Go and ask your PMO. Go and ask your senior managers. Hey, show me something, man. I learn out of it. But if I do the mistake again, you can question me. But show me the lessons learned. Well, that's good there. Hope you got it. Let me put the answers here. These days, I'm getting sunlight on my working table. I feel so good, okay? Because when I'm sitting in an office, we don't see the sunset. Usually you go in the morning and you come only in the dark, right? We won't see a sunset. These days, when you sit in the home and we see the sunset and keep working, that's give a good feel. Do anybody get that kind of feel when you work at home and you get sunset seeing there from a window?
I kind of like the afternoons better. I never noticed the afternoon because I work before the afternoon until the midnight.
Okay.
So it feels like a blessing. I have been enjoying that for quite some time.
Seriously, there are some companies now reconsidering why don't we go for more of work from home and reduce the infrastructure cost. I really love that they are to do that. I think the trust level was very low some years back to giving to the employees. Now the trust level has gone high. People are shown that yes, wherever we are, we'll work. Right? That's how thing is. Anyway, that's a good sign. One side goes bad, one side comes good. Let's wait and see. Okay, the main area, we are going to the estimation. What do you do estimation? Yes, we need a calculator. Oh, there is a potato chips is there. Okay, now let's do the calculation. What do you do for the calculation? We are going to estimate it. What's the purpose of estimation? Let me read this line. Estimate active duration is a process of estimating the number of work periods needed to complete the individual activity. I'll repeat it again. Number of work periods can be hours, weeks, days, months, years. But generally activity will be a little small, right? It won't be so big because we have made a pieces of it. We took a big piece of cake and we put slice by slice and we got a smaller size. And for that size, I'm going to do an estimation. Now, when we talk about estimation, it is well advised that you have to do this estimation along with your team. You should not do alone. In agile world, as somebody coming from the Scrum team, they'll talk about the Fibonacci series. They talk about t-shirt sizing. A lot of methods are there. Okay, that's nothing but a low level of estimation to see how much of it will take. When you come to the PMBOK or PMP books, they don't complicate too much. They kept it very simple for last a decade. At least I'm seeing these books. What happened is they're telling that most of the estimation what we do, we don't reinvent the wheel. We go back to the historical record and we see that how we did this kind of estimation in the previous project. For example, I want to paint this wall. I will not take time to see how much of time it will take to paint here. Rather, I will go and see the next room or next apartment where they did the painting. For the same size of room, how much of time it took? It took 3 days and 1 day to dry, totally 4 days. That's called historical record. Now I can use it and I can make an estimation for my project or my activity. That's called analogous estimation. You are just reusing the record. It's going to really, really save your time, right? That's very important. Where we use it, when the requirement is not totally clear, we are the beginning stage of the project, we can go for analogous estimation, right? Because we don't have a clarity what kind of paint I'm going to use or what kind of wall it is. I just want to know for this 200 square feet, what is the timeline? Analogs can be used there. Now let's talk about parametric, the second one. Now, parametric is very closely related to analogous, where you use historical, but also you will use some of the database of your company or some of the parameters of the project to manipulate some parameters to get the value. For example, if historical says that a 200 square feet wall can consume 4 days, if my wall is 600 square feet, I can use that algorithm or some calculation to make understand how much it will take for me, right? Again, no formula here. It's purely of historical plus the parameters, right? Yeah, we use certain algorithms, some database information, what we have. That's parametric estimation. These two are very, very common in any project in the world, except certain very new kind of project which is going to happen, like finding a medicine for coronavirus. Very new, it may not have analogous estimation. Even though you have it, it won't be so much closer, right? That's the thing. Even though we talk about agile, fast, all stuff, now you understood nothing is working, right? It's all happening on its own time. You can't do that. Right, now coming back on this analogous and parametric, both are called as top down approach, right? It's a top down because you know some information and you borrow some information and take an estimate. It's called top down. There is one interesting factor which is called as bottom up. What do you mean by bottom up? With your team, you will understand along with them how much of time this work will take. I can even call an expert, a painter, a wall painter, to ask him to do painting for 50 square feet and find out how much of time it's taking to complete this 50 square feet. If I know that, that will help me to start adding more, and that will become a bottom-up estimation. Now, the accuracy level of a bottom-up estimation is pretty high comparing to analogous and parametric. The reason being is analogous and parametric are dependent on historical record, where historical record can be wrong, may be wrong, right? So the accuracy level is a little low there, whereas in bottom it's a little high. 3 estimations are really good. So far, no formula. Happy. Now there is one estimation which uses a formula. Why? First of all, there is something called 3-point estimation. This is a 3-point estimation. Why we come to 3-point estimation is we want to see both the extreme ends. One is a positive end, one is a negative end. One friend of you tells that nothing happens as planned. Yeah, pessimistic guy. One guy says, man, life is cool, man, everything's perfect. It's going to be an optimistic person. So whenever you do some estimation for the painting work, I will see what will happen. The worst case, the painter cannot come to my area because of lockdown. One says it may work, a painter can easily come in and complete the work. And in between, there is a center guy, the most likely guy, who says chances are good. Now, what happened is they call as optimistic, they call as pessimistic, they call as most likely. When you put these 3 together, some formula comes out. The formula goes like optimistic plus 4 into most likely plus pessimistic divided by 6. The 4 is the weightage given because M has highest probability of happening. So this is a formula used for it. Right. How many of you are aware of this formula? Anybody good with this formula already? I know some experts are here already. Prithvi is good. Oh, many of you are aware of the formula. That's great. That's great. That's great. Good to know. Good to know. Much of you are aware of the formula. Great. This 3-point estimation is very common in many projects. You can be from IT industry, non-IT industry, pharma, construction. Many industry use it because they want to calculate both the end of positivity and negativity, which can happen or cannot happen, right? So they use it. One more is there that is called triangular distribution. In triangular distribution, they will not give weightage for the formula for the most likely. So what happens is it will become optimistic plus most likely plus pessimistic divided by 3. This is triangular distribution. No question comes in exams for this formula, whereas the formula which I given before, the exam question comes. They call it as weighted average. They give weightage for it. It has a name called weighted average, beta distribution. It is also called the PERT. PERT stands for Program Evaluation and Review Technique. Right? This is the one. Good then. So we have 4 ways of calculation: analogous, parametric, bottom up, 3-point estimation. In all these 4, only one has a formula. Rest all no formula. It's all only the conceptual way of doing things. Hope we are good there and we are learning something great there. Vaibhav, what you missed? Oh man, I always have answers for you guys, man. Okay, go ahead with the answer. You are managing a software project when your customer informs you that a schedule change is necessary. What is the best thing to do? Okay, anyway, the answer is very open there. But do you see a keyword in the question? You are managing a software project when your customer informs you that a schedule change is necessary. Now, when they say schedule change is necessary, am I going to do it immediately or am I going to investigate it? What's a look when something happens like that? Right, we have to somehow go ahead and analyze it. That's why they use the word consult. If you look at the answer A, it talks about consult, right? You have to go deep, understand, is it doable, what is happening currently, and then make action accordingly. You cannot blindly accept things, right? Even though the sponsor comes and tell you to change something, you cannot do that. Yes, rightly said, impact analysis, we do that. And many say that change is welcome. Yes, welcome, but on a what cost? We have to see that how much it's going to impact it. No impact, happy. If there is an impact, be careful about it, right? Hey, Vaibhav, the point for you is we spoke about weighted average and triangular distribution. Weighted average, where they give weightage for most likely chances which can happen, higher probability of happening, right? So optimistic plus 4 into most likely. Whereas other one is a triangular distribution which gives equal weightage: optimistic, pessimistic, most likely divided by 3. So that's the 2 things are there. And again, most of the exam question are not most, 99.9 goes to weighted average question in the examination. Hope that's good for you. Great. Let's move on. That's good. There comes it. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about the develop the schedule. This is the place where you use a lot of factors. In fact, there is something called CPM. I'm sure some of you would have learned about it. It's called critical path method, right? So now critical path method talks about how do you find the best timeline to complete the work. Now, critical path method has a sentence which says that it's the shortest timeline and the longest duration of the project, right? Now, if you see here, a develop schedule is a process of analyzing the activity sequence, duration, resource requirement, and schedule. Now, what happened is the few slides back, we saw that we put a sequence out of it. After sequencing, using analogous or parametric or 3-point or bottom up, we got these numbers, right? From any form. I'm not sure which form. Some form we use, you got the numbers. So the numbers are here. Now, out of these numbers, these picture says critical path is 4 days. What that means is, imagine this as one project. In this project, we have 3 tracks are running: track 1, track 2, track 3. When you complete all these 3 tracks parallelly, then you will be able to complete the project and do it. It may be a software, it may be a construction, it may be a surgery, right? It may be pharma work, something. Now, in this, I want to know what is a critical path, which is a very important path, which you cannot deny, which you cannot delay for any reason. So if I calculate 1 plus 2, it becomes 3. So this path takes 3 days of time. This path takes 1 day to complete, whereas this path takes 1 plus 2 plus 1 goes around 4 days. So I have 3 tracks running parallelly, out of which one is 1, which is lowest. I have 4, which is highest, right? Now, the highest one is considered as a critical path. Why? Because fourth day is the day my project will get over. In case if I'm going to delay this activity by another 1 day, it will become 5 days. So when you commit to the fourth day with your customer will expect you will complete on fourth day, right? So you should be very careful enough not to delay any activity in this path, right? That makes this the critical path. Now, what is critical path? In the critical path, every resource is assumed to be available and there is no delay in completing the work. They call as float as 0. When you give 0, it means no delay accepted here. Whereas a non-critical path, it has certain numbers, it can go delay. For example, now here, this path takes only 1 day to complete. Now, if it is only 1 day, now the float for this path can be 3 days. Why? Because here we had a 4 days of critical path, 4 minus 1, you get 3. So this activity, even it delays 3 days, still we will complete the activity by fourth day. So we won't delay beyond the project timeline. So that's about the critical path. Actually, critical path has a lot of content. Even we have early start, early finish, late start, late finish. I don't want to go too much into that. I'm just trying to give a heads up on what goes under the critical path. Okay, quickly, there are certain questions running up. Tejas is putting, here we have to raise change request first before consult schedule change plan. We will consult it to understand what kind of change it's going to be. Then we will raise a change request. We will go to CCB board. Rahman is asking, is it true? If an activity is on critical path, it has 0 float in that case. Perfectly right, Rahman, you got it. I think now I explained, probably would have got a little more on that. Suvendra is asking, do we have a term for the shortest path? The longest is called critical path. Shortest path, you can name it, but we don't have in the PMP books, but it won't give you any, what is a meaningful answer there, right? You see, we learned this shortest, longest path in discrete maths in your engineering. That is different. What you're learning here is to see how long it will take to complete this particular work, and which is a very crucial track which you have to keep an eye on it. For example, in a marriage function, getting a marriage wedding ring is very crucial. That should be on time. There is no delay expected there. If that's getting delayed, your whole project will get delayed, right? So you have to keep an eye on that particular path. You ordering a gold ring or diamond ring, right? And that being delivered on time and keeping it safe in the locker, bringing it on the day of marriage, that's a critical path, a very crucial one. That missed out, whole project collapsed. So something like that, we are going to see that in every project, which is a critical path or the backbone of the project. Hope you got it. Okay, great there. Thanks for the questions. I can see active participation from many people. Good doing that. Let's keep moving. When you do that, anyway, I didn't talk about the early start, early finish, late start, because it's a big theory behind that. I don't want to put too much into that. I want to just give you a heads up. When you know each activity, see if you see this critical path, wait here. If you see this critical path, this activity it doesn't come just like that. I will put a path show for you. There was an SOW. From the SOW, it became a requirement. From the requirement, it became a WBS. From the WBS, it became a work package. From the package, it became an activities. From the activities, you put the sequence of activities. That's what you're seeing here. You took a work from your customer, right? SOW. Then they gave a raw requirement. The raw requirement has been converted into WBS. The WBS further divided into package. Package further divided into activity. Only when you know the activity, you put in a sequence. After putting into sequence, you found the duration. What is duration? The timeline to complete this particular activity. If you sum up all these activities, bunch of activities, that will give your overall timeline of your project, and that is called as schedule baseline. Whenever you see a word baseline, it's a mutual agreement between both the party. That's why they use a word called formal. It's a formal agreement between the performing organization and the sponsors. Hey guys, this is what we want and this is the time it will take to do. We know what's the requirement and we know what's the time it will take to complete, right? That's where we'll talk about a schedule baseline. So baselines are very crucial. Now the question comes immediately, Shriram, I got a baseline. Now I cannot make any changes. Yeah, we can make changes. What it means is you have to go through change control board. Now you can ask me the question, hey, why I should go to change control board? I know the project in and out. So somebody's asking me, instead of delivering on 7th day, can you deliver on 6th day? Can I quickly make changes? I will say no, it's not advisable. You have to go through some of the processes to understand what is the requirement, right? What is the requirement? You have to understand the costing factor. You have to understand the resource factor. You have to understand the risk factor. There are certain things it should happen on that timeline. If you do it a little early, it may get into trouble, right? There are chances. That's why we have something called compression techniques, which you're going to see now, but still it be careful on any changes coming up, right? So that talks a little about the baseline. When I talk about the baseline, I also want to talk about something called compression techniques. By the way, I want to remind you, you are in schedule management and you're learning how the timing factor is used in the project. It may not be overnight task. It's a continuous process. You do again and again, and you get the answers out of it. Okay, now there is something called compression technique. The word compression, I think many of you know that. You put things in a compressed form. Why do you want to go for compression, first of all? Because, by the way, I'll ask people, why do you want to go to compression? Why there is a demand for compression in project management?
Sometimes the one activity could be delayed, so that I have to meet the timeline. I have to compress something to meet the timeline.
Right. Yeah, meeting the deadline. Yeah, there is a point. Chandan is putting there, a stakeholder request to deliver it faster, complete it faster, achieve the deadline. Or you yourself running late already. Assuming something you took longer time to prepare in the beginning stage, it's killing your time. How many of us has prepared for the PMP exam and we come to know the last 10 days, oh my God, lot more to read. You compress, you start putting certain things together, right? Let's not go to the project. Let's take your PMP exam itself. You plan something, you want to read 10 days, but you read only 5 days. You do certain things. You have to do compress now. Thanks for the answers now. If you go for compression, there is something called fast tracking and crashing. In crashing, you will start adding more resources, assuming adding more resources will reduce the time. It may, but what will happen is here it will eat your pocket. The dollar will be high, the money value will be high, but at some time you have to make this choice. You have to go, no other go. There is a push, you have to do it, right? See, now look at the situation happening in the industry. Doctors are pulled from multiple places. The frontline workers are pulled from multiple places, right? Like many people who thought they are big shots, they are not useful now in the market. You can call them as a sports people, music people, all the IT guys who got a lot of money. No way you're useful. You're a trash now. Now there are people in the front line who work at the saving people, who work at the road level cleaning things. They are crashing it, right? They're pulling all the resources. The cost goes high. Quality factor also comes into picture. When new people come in, if they don't know the system, they do some mistake there, that will burn your finger. But still, sometimes you have to take that risk. I can see the countries are taking risks to crash with more people to complete things faster. Fast tracking. In fast tracking, certain things are going in a linear way. This is a linear way, right? But we are trying to put in a parallel way. Why? Because we have to complete it faster. Here, it is good. It can happen, but sometimes it will create trouble because certain things should happen only linear. But if you try to put in parallel, it can throw some quality issues. It can bring some new risk in the project, right? That can happen. So that's a little about the compression techniques, which is very famous, and I'm seeing more questions come in the examination, right? That's very interesting. Good there. I can see a lot of people put a chat window. Risk is high too. That's great. Thanks for that points. Okay, that puts us with some understanding. No, there is no answer. Let's answer this. Look at the question, read it. You are managing a project when your client tells you that next problem happened and now you have to meet an early deadline. I'm a supervisor. I heard that in a situation like this, you can use a schedule compression by the crashing or fast tracking in schedule. He is not sure which is which. What are you telling? I think it's going to be straight answer, man. You guys all know the answers now, huh? Okay, let me see the answers. C and A is fluctuating here. Okay, why C, why A? A says crashing the project adds risk. Crashing the project adds risk. While fast tracking adds cost. I think I said that when you add more people, the cost goes high. So I doubt on A. Okay. Anyway, let's wait. Let's see C. Crashing the project adds cost. Fast tracking adds risk. I think C looks closer, right? For most of you. And because just now I explained, adding material goes a little higher. Okay, that's good. Oh my goodness, many of you went C. People went with the A. Please read it once more. In the A, if you go to the last word, it says cost. I gave a clue to you. Fast tracking means instead of going in a linear fashion, like a train compartment, you are going to go in a parallel, right? Here, I don't think you will have too much of cost factors. You will be working on the timing factor. How can I make it in a parallel way, right? Cost also will be there, but not much as crashing. Crashing, you add people. For some reason, the crashing, the English word doesn't fit in your mind. Whenever you say crashing, something going to hit hard, right? But actually, in PEP books, crashing is adding more resources. You crash more resources into the project. And it was a little hard for me while I started learning it. Maybe after years, it got used with me. Crashing means I know it's adding people, right? That's how it is. Hope the people who said yay, you convinced with the answer. Or anybody say rejected? No, this answer not acceptable. People gave yay. Are you comfortable? Mini is asking, reducing time for each activity will be fast tracking. No, Mini, you have to understand this. We are not reducing the time. The time is going to be same, but we're going to do parallel way, right? Instead of doing the linear way, we will do parallel. Each activity will take 3 hours, 4 hours to complete. I'm not going to reduce to 3 to 2, 4 to 3. I'm not going to reduce it. It will take same 3, 4, but I will not wait. I will do it in a parallel way. Hope that answers you, Mini.
Yeah, Shriram, I was just thinking because crashing means we'll put more resources or we'll reduce time, right? Did I get that right? So when you add more resources, cost is increased. But when we reduce time, there's no cost involved in that, right? That's how I was thinking.
No, a little bit there. You are halfway right, but I'll tell you one more, I'll repeat it again. See, in crashing, what we're trying to do is you're going to put more number of people and equipment, materials, right? By that, we're assuming that it can bring out the time down because the work is splitted. Same 3 hours of work with more number of people, it gets splitted, can complete faster. I am not saying to reduce the duration of the work. The work duration remains the same. If it will take 3 hours to paste this wall, yes, it's 3 hours. But if you put more people, it can complete much faster, right? That's one thing about the crashing. That's a separate part. Now, fast tracking, now we're going to have parallelly happening. When the pasting work is happening, the other side, the team will start mixing the painting for the paint to be done. But there is a duration which is needed to dry the wall. That creates some trouble there. So both has a plus and minus, but again, it's a manager's responsibility to decide which is good, which is bad. They are not telling this only for the bad. They're telling this to be aware such situation may come in the project. I'm sure all of you doing in your personal life. Telling it in a project, look at a personal life. You're doing fast tracking, you're doing crashing regularly. Good there. Thanks for the acceptance there. Let's move on. Agile release planning. Okay. This is not part of your exam, but just get a clue of it in the books of PMP. It has about release planning. Agile release planning provides a high-level summary timeline of the release schedule, typically 6 months or 3 months of timeline. I completely agree. This is what we do. Release planning will make every 6 months, 7 months, or what to be released to the market, a major release. We know that. Within the 6 months, we will have multiple iterations to complete. An iteration these days go by 2 weeks. There were days they even did 3 weeks, 4 weeks, but now I mean, I'm seeing most of the countries or most of the companies are going by 2 weeks of time. So if you say 2 weeks, in a 6 months of timeline, you have a lot of weeks coming up, right? So 4 weeks makes a month, right? So it's going to have a number of multiply, and that will become a 6 month release. And why this is explained here is based on this, some of your planning will happen because in sprint or in at least in agile format, not everything will be planned very early. They will plan it as they get closer to the work because the target will be keep changing. Why? In adaptive nature of project, customer tend to see their output and decide, do I need to continue on the same track or I have to little bit change a track? This is the beauty of adaptive nature of project, specifically software development. In software development, every release, they decide, is this right or change the target. The first 2 weeks, the target will be here. Then they move the target here. Then they move the target here. So based on that, your dimension keep on changing. For a bridge construction, the target is always one. Location chosen, bridge size and width is chosen, and the design architecture is chosen. Little bit change can happen, right? Rest all going to be same. So when you talk about agile release thing, this is how things works out. I don't want to go deep because it's being explained in the Scrum methodology or agile methodology books. If you have doubts on agile ways, maybe I'll be conducting some session on agile stuff. There is a book on agile practices, which is given in the same PMP books in PMBOK last 200 pages. Read a little bit about it, you'll get an idea. But in exam, no questions. They may get 1 or 2 questions, which is a very common question anybody can answer, right? So that's easy stuff. But again, just get a clarity of what is agile all about. Okay, yeah, Rahman, that's right. Let's move on. Ooh, now you have to control it. So far, what we have seen is you define it, you made a plan, and when the work starts happening, someone has to keep a watch. Am I going in the right way? Why? Because if you don't look at the watch, things will go more. Even look at now, I should have been completed the training 5 minutes back. I'm already shooting 5 minutes extra. Hey, by the way, I'm going to take another 10 minutes of your time. Are you comfortable being here? 10 more minutes? Quickly, let me get a yes from you, then we'll proceed on. Perfect, great. Good that I know the samosa is waiting there. Let's come and go and have a hot tea and samosa. Okay. Okay, going back now, what happens is you have to keep a control of things. What will happen is you will plan something, but in between an unwanted activity or an activity getting extended will kill your time. But for that, you cannot say that's wrong. That may be needed for the project. That may be something which is crucial or something which is unwanted, but you can't avoid it. Some stakeholders will drag your time. You can't say no. You have to entertain them also. And that's about controlling your schedule. You keep a watch of things. Is that going as per the plan? If not as per the plan, bring it back. That's very important. And you have to do that throughout the project. You keep control of things throughout the project. It's very, very vital, right? That's very important. Okay, let's quickly look at the summary. What all we touched up in this section. Today, we just saw a hint about what is a project all about. I didn't go too deep inside, but I'll try to touch with you what is the project all about. And we touched a little bit about the agile approach. I was talking about iterative way, what they do. I'll also give a little heads up on the Kanban method where they have a pull mode of understanding things, right? And we have something about activities. This is a very important part, which I want you to understand. There is something called WBS. Under WBS, you have package. Under package, you have list of activities. Okay, list of activities. 1, 2, 3, it'll keep going up. That's how it is. Now, then we understood the sequencing of activities. Now, what do? A1 should be done, then A2 will happen. After A2, A3 will happen. That's a sequencing of compartment. What sequence it is called as logical sequencing, right? That's very important. When you do the sequencing, you also keep in mind about some of the dependencies and some of the leads and lags, which we understood. On what way we decided there is external dependency, internal dependency. We started understanding those factors. Then also we understood something called estimation techniques. Under estimation techniques, you learn something called analogous, parametric, 3-point, and bottom-up estimation, right? Then we understood something about CPM, critical path method, very crucial, where it has 0 value as a float when it is a critical path. Then we learned something on compression techniques, which is talking about fast tracking, and also we learned something on crashing, which talks about how you push the resources. And then we learn a little bit about release planning, not much deep inside because it's not part of your exam, but at least you understand that a release has multiple small iterations which can be planned then and there, right? That's pretty much cool. We learned certain factors. Good there. Okay, shall we see a video about a successful project of PMI? What they say about this project. Are you good to see a video? Okay, let's quickly see this video.
People, planet, profit. The triple bottom line was the driving force behind CMPC Cellulose Rio Grandense's pulp mill expansion project. The result, a $2.4 billion project that would develop local businesses, protect the environment, and train the workforce, all while increasing profits. If I don't have such kind of sustainable vision, probably in the future, the society will close your mill or your business. State-of-the-art tech.
Shriram, sorry to stop you. The audio is not clear actually. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, sorry guys. What happened? Audio is not good.
Yeah, the audio is not good actually, Shriram.
I'm sorry, man. My system. Okay, now I shared the audio. It should be good now. Let's run this 2 minutes video again. Some movies are getting repeated.
Triple bottom line was the driving force behind CMPC Cellulose Rio Grandense's pulp mill expansion project. The result, a $2.4 billion project that would develop local businesses, protect the environment, and train the workforce, all while increasing profits.
If I don't have such kind of sustainable vision, probably in the future, the society will close your mill or your business.
State-of-the-art tech helped the team shrink the mill's environmental footprint. Even though the project tripled pulp production, the new facility uses less water and creates less waste. Today, the water released into the Guaíba River is as clean as the river itself.
Reducing our consumption of water, being self-energy sufficient, recycle almost all our solid waste. I think that's how all the industry should do.
But going green only goes so far. To avoid strikes and schedule delays, the project team built a relationship with the workers' union, and it invested in changes that would boost employee morale, including letting everyone enjoy the World Cup.
We stopped the construction during this period. We created internal rooms and so on in order that the workers were able to watch the TV and so on.
The team also focused on safety from the start. It set strict guidelines and would stop work when they weren't being followed. This helped the project close with the lowest accident rate of any project in Brazil's pulp and paper industry, setting a new safety standard for the country.
I've been on other projects just like this one, and always in Brazil we had some kind of bad injuries or fatalities on these kinds of project, and this is not happening here.
CMPC also went out of its way to invest $1 billion with suppliers in the state, jump-starting the local economy. And the team trained more than 8,000 workers in skills such as civil engineering and mechanical assembly, giving them better access to future jobs.
We left a legacy. There was a really a huge effort to train all the workforce, to develop companies. I'm sure that this region is not gonna be the same as was before.
Okay, I just want to show you some of the difficulties these guys go through in the project and how they handle it, right? Oh, that was a good one. You got some hint about it. By the way, so that pretty much we touched today, and I hope it was a good thing for you. You learned certain factors, right? And I want you to do big projects in life. I keep showing this image regularly, telling that always think big, right? I know you got to do small projects also, but think big yourself as a program manager, portfolio manager, project manager, handling a lot of stuff. Don't do this course only for certificate. I'll tell you, once you complete certificate, you'll forget it. So when you learn it as I want to be a manager, I'm a manager, I know everything to do handle effectively. That sounds really well, and your interview will be so nice. When you go for the job interviews, you'll be solid enough to talk in front of the people when you have this kind of vision with you, right? And the things going through in 2020, it's going to be a little tough for next 8 months or 1 year. So get yourself, gear up yourself to learn things to the depth, right? Half away learning will not put you in the right place, right? With this, as a good day. I believe things went well. So let me hear from you how you guys felt about the session. Things are good for you? Great.
Yes.
Good, guys. Thanks for that. Great. Thanks, Sudha. Thanks, Mati. Great. Ashmi, good. Thank you. Thanks, all. Great.
Thanks, Sri.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys, for joining. Have a good Sunday. Also, enjoy your Saturday there. That's great, Ravi. Thanks. Thanks, Prabhu. Thanks, Teja. Thanks for it.
Everybody stay safe.
Thanks, guys. Have a good time. And thanks for joining. We'll catch up soon on the next session next week. Thank you. And any help, reach out the name I given there in the slide. You have support@ShriLearning.com. Some numbers are there. You can store it and you can call out them. And we have Rahul, who is reading this effort from the screen, behind the screen. And he and his team will definitely help you out, right? Reach out for anything on project management related. Good, guys. Thanks for being there. Have a great time. We'll catch up soon. Thank you.